Hey YouTube, this is raining here, and I just want to make a video follow-up to talk about some of the things that I've learned recently, and I think some of this will be very relevant to a lot of people suffering from mood disorders, depression, or anxiety. And I probably touched on these things before, but I'd like to take a moment to reiterate some of it, because a lot of times we want to medicate, and obviously I have and do. A lot of people self-medicate. We look around and we say, oh well, why are these people, they feel so well and they don't take antidepressants. I hear that a lot, I say that a lot, and yeah, some people have better chemical balances genetically or for whatever reason, and might have better moods as a result. But you can't always look at everyone else, because if you get in the habit of that, then you're just gonna start to hate yourself more, and it's that way with everything, from looking at people on Facebook and seeing how great they're doing. But actually, in my experience, most people aren't doing very great. Most people aren't doing very great at all. And I know a lot of people that you would think that feel well, but that smoke marijuana, that drink alcohol daily. These are raising neurotransmitters. They're raising GABA in the brain. They're raising dopamine, and this is just another form of medication. And if anything, that form of medication could be more toxic. And I'm not trying to get a whole lot of negative comments about marijuana. I'm not really talking about, well, I guess I am talking about marijuana usage as well. But yeah, and that's for a whole different discussion. I'm not talking about the medicinal uses of marijuana. I'm talking about using marijuana to self-medicate for anxiety or depression. Now, and if it works for you, then that's great. What I'm saying is, and don't miss the point here, the point of this video is to talk about the underlying cause. Why are we having anxiety? Why are you having depression? Clearly, if you take an antidepressant and you feel better, you're having a reaction to a change in your neurochemistry. Well, how did your neurochemistry get out of balance, and why? Well, like I said, we've talked about it before, but I have a little bit more information about some of the things and mechanisms. So in America, because we don't eat a lot of fat, and we don't, and by fat I mean good fat like coconut oils, extra virgin olive oil, good fats from lean, grass-fed meats, antibiotic-free meats. These are the kind of things, where do you think amino acids come from? Those are amino acids. So, if you're like me, just imagine, I grew up on carbohydrates. We didn't eat a lot of quality, probably any quality meat. Most meat I had was probably from like McDonald's drive-through. So over time, you're depleting your source of neurotransmitters. Your neurotransmitters, your stress communication is built from amino acids. So if you're not replenishing it, and then on top of that, over time, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, on top of that, you're leading a conventional or contemporary lifestyle in America, which is fueled by stress. That's sort of like our chief product in this country is stress. That's what our chief export. Not to say other countries don't have that too, but America is horrible. There are countries that don't focus so much on individual wealth and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so that being said, what we do is, I found out I'm reading a book called The Ultra Mind Solution. You run out of serotonin or dopamine, and then you start to have eventually this breakdown, and you might self-medicate, or you might go to the doctor and get pills, or you might sorry, thought my video camera just shut off, or you might just suffer through it, which I did for many years. might just want to suffer through the feeling. And a lot of people do. They spend their lives just miserable, drinking caffeine for that, or caffeine. Ha, that's cool. Coffee. It's like caffeine and coffee. Drinking caffeine in the morning and, you know, getting that dopamine rush. And that's what caffeine does. I mean, it gives you some dopamine. That's what chocolate does. Or you want to eat those carbohydrates. You want to eat those breads and those starches, because what that does is it raises your serotonin very quickly, but it burns out very fast. So people are constantly trying to eat the starches and the breads and all the white products, and that is causing your serotonin to rise. So basically, you're having these blood sugar crashes throughout the day. You're not replenishing your amino acids, and you're self-medicating with food and or drugs, prescription or otherwise. So there's very few people, I'm sure, that eat poorly, that lead a poor lifestyle, that don't take medication or drugs, that probably feel very well. You know, I don't have to be a doctor to know that. The fuel you put in your body is what you're gonna get out. But, so anyway, so for a lot of people, my point is, for a lot of people, I'm not saying for you, but a very good portion of people that are suffering from anxiety or depression, especially the mild to moderate kind, it can probably be attributed to some of these underlying factors within the diet and the lifestyle. Obviously, the skin of the body was literally designed to absorb vitamin D. And a lot of times we're not out in the sun. In the winter, we don't get a lot of sun, or depending on where you live geographically. And there are solar lamps you can get for like 30 bucks on Amazon that give you a certain lux that can help replenish that. So yeah, vitamin D is very important. Omega-3s is what feeds your brain. We're getting a lot of anti-nutrients through grains. So there's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of changes you can make. And some people, and I've been there and in and out of there all the time, but get so depressed, or they're so depleted that they can't function at all. And there are over-the-counter amino acids that can help some people replenish it, those things as well, like 5-HTP and tyrosine. Or, you know, if you have to get on a medication to help boost those neurotransmitters, and then once you can get up and function, then maybe start implementing those changes. But I know a lot of people, a good friend of mine who, and it's hard for me to judge because I'm still learning and I'm still trying to get through it. And I realized that for me, I don't really have depersonalization as much anymore. I get it sometimes. I don't really have anxiety as much either. I don't get panic attacks. All of that has pretty much gone away. I have a lot of good mechanisms I use. I'm not on benzos, and you know, deep breathing and stuff like that. I do suffer. The one thing I can't seem to get rid of, which is the last component to really healing, is stopping the ruminations. And for me, I suffer from PTSD, and I was in some traumatic situations in my life. So that is another component. So let's say, and for me, I just kept saying, well, why can't I get better? Why am I not better right now? I'm eating the fish oils, the coconut oils, the olive oils. I'm avoiding all the grains and the sugars and the chemicals. I'm exercising daily. I'm in the sun. I'm outside. I gave up video games. I quit drinking. I quit caffeine years ago. And I mean, I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing? So I had to come to the realization that not everybody can 100% heal through lifestyle change. And a lot of it's about letting go, and it's so hard to let go when you've been in pain for a long time, or you've been suffering for a long time. You're kind of used to it. So like for me personally, I sort of have that that problem that I'm working on, that just complicates things for me. But that's not going to stop me from making a video to tell other people and share what I've learned through, I mean, many reports from doctors and clinical studies and all these things. There's some people, you know, like I said, need additional support or additional help, and that's fine. So everyone's got a different route, but the result or the conclusion's always the same. Okay, and that's what I was saying about my friend. She was so down in the dumps, she couldn't even get out of bed. She couldn't function. And she'd been taking Prozac for years, and it just wasn't working anymore. But it was working originally. And Prozac stops the absorption of serotonin by the reuptake pump, which creates more serotonin, the synapse of the brain. You know, it's one way to do it. But it stopped working over time. And the reason it stopped working and her symptoms started getting different and worse was because over time, as you raise serotonin, you lower dopamine. So it's a balancing act. You have your dopamine, serotonin, and GABA and glutamate. So an imbalance in GABA and glutamate could cause either sedation if you have too much GABA, or it can cause you know, you to be very irritable and panicky if you have too much glutamate. I mean, there's more to it. There's a lot going on in there in your brain, and not everyone's going to respond the same. But you could also have low serotonin, could cause, you know, anxiety as well. But, you know, high dopamine can cause psychosis, or, you know, so they have antipsychotics to lower dopamine and all those things. And I will say a lot of supplements, like the one I'm trying, and I'm going to shoot another video here in a minute about this, SAMe, has been shown clinically to be more effective than Prozac in studies, or antidepressants. And I'm gonna give that a try because there's like a lot less side effects and it's natural to the body. I've tried it before, but I've never really taken an effective dose. I need to try it. So I'm scared of medications. I'm scared to take high dosages. So when I do try something, I don't take the right dose. And, you know, it's like, why are you doing it anyway? So, because I'm always thinking as soon as I try something, I want to come off of it. You know, that's for a different video. But anyway, so sorry, I know I'm getting distracted here, but she started taking Wellbutrin, or bupropion, and it boosts dopamine and epinephrine, or norepinephrine. And she started taking 150 milligrams of that, and man, like 4 days, it was like complete change. She went manic though. She went to like this manic level where I couldn't even talk to her. I'd get anxiety, but it seems to have settled down, and she just feels amazing, you know, 10 times better than I feel. And I'm thinking, geez, man, you know, like, that's pretty awesome. She's boosting her dopamine now. She's balancing it out, and I felt really happy for her that she's out there doing things, feeling better than she's ever felt before. And I've talked to a lot of people that medications have that effect for. Not everybody does, and there are natural ways. But the point of what I was saying to her is, when she was down in the dumps and she was not feeling well for a long time, we were talking about all these healthy lifestyle changes that she wanted to make. And she may be making some of them, but I think that if you mask your problem, then it's hard to make changes. Like, oh, all of a sudden I feel great, I'm gonna go out and party, I'm gonna go out and do the things I was doing before that got me here in the first place. Because I feel great, I don't need anything. I don't need, because your body is saying, hey man, you're low in dopamine because of X. You gotta find out what X is. Not everybody's X is the same thing. I mean, obviously, someone that's an alcoholic and drinking every day or all day, they're gonna have GABA issues and glutamate issues and all kinds of shit going on. Versus someone that does some other recreational drug, or someone that abuses medications, or someone that just hasn't been in the sun. You know what I mean? You have a lot of symptoms. So another point of the video is to say that a lot of people can have similar symptoms, anxiety disorders, depression, and it's not going to be necessarily serotonin for you. It's not. It might not be dopamine. It might be vitamin D. It might be a hormone imbalance. Boosting certain chemicals can cause you to feel better, but until you get to the underlying cause, you're never going to get to the root. And to get to the root, you can reset yourself through like a paleo diet or something like that. There's a lot of great resources out there. If you need any, just email me. I could try to let you know, or if there's enough interest, I can make a follow-up video about those resources. But the point is, even if you take medication and you feel better, and I told Kristen, I said, name drop, I said, Kristen, you've got to use this now to go out there and do the running and the yoga, the meditation, all those things you said you want to do. Instead of going out and partying, I'm not saying don't have a good time, but instead of going out and partying all the time, you need to like get yourself back. But if you already feel good, then it's like, why do I want to do those things? You know, I'm not saying that that's you, I'm just saying that typically people are that way. So your body is needing what it needs, and if you get that chemically, okay, but there might be problems down the road if you don't heal the underlying cause. So yeah, use medication, use supplementation, you know, use that as a bridge to get you where you need to be to change your lifestyle, because that's the only way you're going to have a lasting effect and heal yourself at the root level. And like I said before, I'm not opposed to medication. I used to be very, very, very long time, and I also think that a majority of people can heal, like I said in many videos, naturally if given the opportunity. So I think that people should at least try some of this stuff. And if you have any, if you need help or you have any questions about some of those supplements and things, I'm going to make some follow-up videos. I'm getting ready to shoot one about SAMe right now, and I'm getting ready to start on a new course for myself to make a few changes that I've been neglecting that I'm hoping will take me to the next level in my healing. Well, anyway, I appreciate your time, and God bless. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.